All right, check, check. My mic is on. All right, what's going on, everybody? I know I look super tired. I've had a very, very busy last few days. Been running nonstop. I'm very grateful for that, though. It's been running nonstop in a good way. But so I don't want to miss this weather update. So this is where we're at. We got this is our temperature outside right now. We're expected to go below 30 in the high 20s potentially. So this is the temperature currently outside. Now I'm doing an experiment. Now these sensors are outside also, but why is this one 32 now, and this one 43, and this one 40? That's what this video is about. It's about learning how to create subclimates and learning what that even means. So let's go check on our sensors. So remember 40 and 43. Okay. So now the one that is 32 is located out here. I don't have my flashlight on me, but it's right here. The one that's 32 is outside. It's just basically out in the open. There's nothing special about that one. That one's out in the open. That one's reading at 32 degrees. Now over here, this is a mango that I'm very fond of actually. I got this from my sister and I want to make sure this thing survives. And as you can see, I don't have it covered. I just have it basically sitting in my front porch. And the reason is because there's a subclimate here. And I'm actually doing an experiment right now to prove that. So this is reading at 40 degrees. The temperature gauge over there outside is reading at 32. So that's 8 degrees difference. That's 8 degrees difference, and these sensors are no more than 15 feet apart outside. Both of them are outside. The only difference is that that sensor is actually getting heat radiating from the block on my house. From the sun shining on it earlier, it's still radiating some heat, but mostly there's heat being produced inside of my house, and it's coming through the walls, and it's affecting anything that is sitting close to that wall. Isn't that amazing? So there's people that have trees like jackfruits. I really need my flashlight, but you know what? We're just gonna go in the dark because I don't feel like getting it, and plus it kind of blinds you guys anyways. But we're gonna go out in the yard. It's gonna be kind of dark. But back to what I was saying. There's people who have bananas in cold climates. There's people who have jackfruits in cold climates, mangoes in cold climates, and they understand the concept of radiation from the heat, the way the heat radiate. I'm sorry, radiation from the house, heat radiation, the way that it releases the heat whenever the temperature drops. Whatever the temperature of the house is, once the temperature drops below the house, now the house acts as a heating source for anything that's sitting close to the house. It's not releasing a lot of heat, but when we're dealing with tropical trees, we're basically majoring in the minors, which basically means that a minor such as 1 to 2 degrees can make all the difference for this mango. If my temperature reader stays at 32 and up, this mango is good. It's perfectly fine. Now, if it goes below 32 for any number of hours, now the mango immediately begins to take on damage because the mango cannot tolerate freezing conditions. And I will show you. Well, actually, no, I won't because I have it covered up. But I will show you this. This is due to freezing conditions. This is a guava, but it will survive. This thing is a juggernaut, man. Guavas, pink guava. This is a pink guava. A Ruby Supreme, I think is what it's called. This is all because of cold damage. Now, had I not had covered this one up, it would have sustained the same cold damage. Absolutely same cold damage as that guava. The only difference in this one is I've been putting this in my garage every night that it gets that cold for this year, which tonight I believe is the third night that that has happened. But I'm experimenting with keeping it on my porch tonight, not putting it in my garage, because I believe that my understanding of the the heat radiating from the house is sufficient enough to keep this above freezing. But I do have that sensor, And that's why I have that little thing that I always start the video off with in the last couple of videos, because that's allowing me to monitor this. You know, and it also allows me to put these sensors in different areas so that I can learn where subclimates are around my house and around my yard. So now let's keep in mind our temperature gauge that's out in the yard was reading 32 and dropping. The temperature gauge right up here against my house with this mango tree is reading 40 degrees. So we got 32, 40, and now the other temperature gauge is reading 42. Excuse me guys, it's gonna get dark, but you'll be able to see here in a second. Hopefully you can hear. I got the mic on. I really like this little mic. This is a little Five Below mic, and so far this thing is, I mean, it beats talking into the phone, that's for sure. So hopefully you can see this. This is actually my mango tree that is under a frost cloth and under a sheet, a black sheet, and and wrapped around the mango tree is actually Christmas lights. They're incandescent Christmas lights. Incandescent meaning they're not LED. So I have heard that you can put Christmas lights around your trees. I also have around my jackfruit, and I also have it around my bananas back there. I have frost cloth, and I have this is the first night that I've tried the Christmas lights. We got some Christmas lights on sale that were incandescent. And if you guys don't know what incandescent means, here's an easy way for you to understand the difference between LED and incandescent. First of all, usually LED says LED, but if you open the light bulb and you look at the light bulb, it's those old school lights that have the little string in between the two wires. And you remember how you used to shake a light bulb to know if it was good or not? That's when that little string in between the wires would break and there would be shards of it bouncing around inside. But on these Christmas lights, usually the glass is clear, so you actually can see, you can actually see it. So if it has that old school two poles with a line running in between it, that is an incandescent light. And the incandescent lights usually look more orangish, yellowish, not so white. Although LEDs can be different shades of orange also. But incandescent lights actually create more heat. So the mango with the frost cloth and the lights is actually creating more heat than my house up here. So that's very interesting. We've got 2 degrees warmer over there in the mango, which is amazing. That is amazing, amazing, amazing. Because I have the same thing on my jackfruit over there and the same thing on my bananas. So this is the first night I've tested the lights, the incandescent lights. So if you guys can get those on sale, you usually can get them for like 50 cents to $1 for like a, you know, at least a like 8-foot string of incandescent lights. That's what we did. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get enough of them. I need to get like at least 30, 40 packs. I only was able to get 6 for like $1. But those lights do work. So we'll see how it holds up throughout the night as the temperatures drop. Right now, we were at 32 degrees. We were at 40 degrees here, and we're at 42 degrees inside the mango enclosure. So yeah, I'm kind of worried about something though. Oh, it's so cold. I need a jacket on. I had a jacket, but I went inside and started getting comfortable, and I realized that, dang, I should probably make a video, because why shouldn't I document this? So another thing, so that was on my porch, right? So another the microclimate, they gave me 8 degrees of warmth. That was on my front porch. So keep this in mind too. The cold air comes from the north, and you can feel it. I mean, all day as I was outside working jobs and stuff today, you could just feel the front coming in. I mean, we had up to 40-mile-an-hour gusts today, easily 40 miles an hour gusts. But here's the thing, the wind always coming from the north. So it was blowing that storm from the north down to us, right? It's the wind's blowing north. Oh no, wind's coming from the north. That means it's blowing southward. So yeah, it's coming from the north, blowing southward to us. So it's coming from the north of us. The storms always come from the north of us. So here's the thing. If you look and see, I have my sweet potatoes in that little white thing there. And I also have some other plants lined up here at the edge of the house. That should be behind the house. This is the south facing wall of my house. That is north. So anything that sits here will be protected from that wind that's trying to blow from the north as a cold front is moving in. Let's be clear. As cold fronts are moving in, it's going to protect that. Not only that, I have it sitting up and we're getting that radiant heat once again from the house. That's why I have those things sitting up close to the house. It's still going to be cold out here. I mean, it's going to be cold as ish for me because I'm a Florida boy. I don't want to be sleeping next to the house outside, but the plants, again, we're majoring in the minors. You know, if it drops down to 29 degrees out here and it stays 35 degrees next to that house, then we've successfully completed our mission. Our goal is just to stay 33 degrees and warmer, for most things. Now, we'll get into some things later on my channel, and there's some things that don't want 40s, there's some things that don't want 50s, and I'm crazy enough to grow those things here. Mangoes are fairly resilient. As long as it stays above freezing, which is about 32 degrees, you're good with mangoes. That's why I love mangoes, man. But there's some intricacies to the blooming and all that stuff, but for the most part, your tree will stay alive. And most things that I have will stay alive. I have jackfruit, I have some mangoes, bananas. Bananas are perfectly fine until it gets down to 32 degrees and lower and stays there for an hour or two. Then it starts taking on damage. We got a lot of stuff. I haven't completed my walk around of the property. I've got so many trees in this past year, and it's so cool, man. I've just this has become like one of my main hobbies, collecting trees and learning about trees and reading about trees. I've bought books that break down, just the ins and outs of the trees, the climate, the soil, the pH that they like, the type of nutrients that they like, the part of the world that they're from, and the parts of the world they thrive in, the type of climates they thrive in. And it's just so interesting to learn about these different trees, especially because the type of trees I'm dealing with are exotic fruit trees. I mean, it's to me it doesn't get no better than that, man. It doesn't get no better than that. Exotic fruit trees is where it's at, and exotic herbs, and I got this one thing in there called Daga, which is actually something that you smoke. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that on here. It's not illegal, but it's called Daga. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all gotta look it up, but I have it here. But this is partly what I was working on yesterday. Check this out. I just potted all those up today. I took my machine and I removed all these. These are actually called Asian lemon bamboo. Asian lemon bamboo. They're a beautiful bamboo that's yellow with green stripes. It's very hard to see right now, but all these got potted up today. These will be for sale at the nursery probably this spring. I'll have plenty more of that coming too. I'll have freaking boatloads of this stuff coming. You guys can eventually you'll be able to go on my Etsy shop. For those of you who are into this kind of stuff, if you want to get like a cutting or some kind of exotic tree or grafted tree from me. I don't even know if you guys know what grafted means or what the difference is. If you stay watching my channel, you'll understand in the future, because it is significant, and it's interestingly significant in a very interesting way. But yeah, soon I'll be doing some stuff on Etsy. I have a nursery that I'm building right now, and so I'll be doing online sales, and you guys will kind of be able to see some of the things that I'll offer, especially as spring comes around. Man, it's going to be so amazing documenting all this stuff because I've never had so many fruit trees. I've never had this many fruit trees, and I've never had this many exotic trees. Like even in front of me, right here, I have Golden Goddess bamboo, and I have this is PG Dwarf bamboo, which makes a nice size stick. Gets about 12 feet. This one gets this one gets about 15 feet. It makes a stick about that big, and it's a good privacy hedge. This is Goddess bamboo, Golden Goddess, and this one is more like almost like a bush, but these actually are little sticks of bamboo, and they get a little thicker than that, but that creates more like a hedge. It creates like a straight up privacy hedge. So it's a real neat one, and that one gets about 12 feet, but you can't see through it at all. You really can't see through I think the RP, the dwarf, RP. Let me look at it again. PG, RG, dwarf. You can't really see through that one either, but that one's gets about 15. Though it's just, there's so many different types, and then behind me I have Asian bamboo, and then right here I have a super dwarf variety of bamboo that was given to me by a neighbor that actually owns a nursery as well, and I've learned so much from him. Uh, so this is a running bamboo. So this bamboo actually requires a special type of installation preparation. Otherwise, this stuff will just run all over your yard. It has rhizomes that will, like if I take that out of the pot and put it in the ground here, it might pop up over there by my tractor. It might pop over there by my wife's car. It might pop up by the bananas in 2 years. And then at that point, it's like, where the hell is it at? It's already taking its toll by the time it gets that far away. You don't know what directions it's going, and it pops up when it wants to pop up. I've got so many things in my property that are doing that already, like pawpaw plants and muscadine grapes and all different types of like ivy vine plants. Um, there's a lot of invasives that oh, another one is passion fruit. Passion fruit is super invasive, which I don't mind them being here, but they don't actually fruit because they don't never actually get to climb anything so they can actually get up to the sun close enough and stretch out their vine where they can actually make fruit. They generally just pop up as weeds and they're no good. I have a passion fruit in the back that popped up that looked pretty healthy. So I put a trellis there in the ground for it and it grew, and I got probably about 20 fruits out of that, out of a wild passion fruit, because they grow everywhere. You just got to nurture them. Uh, and I think I did mention on the video, on the short, and you got to go back into the short, but it doesn't matter. I didn't really talk about it much. I am building a nursery currently, and I am working on a greenhouse, which is right behind me. Can't really see it. It's in the dark. We'll do a daytime video of it. I'm almost done with it. It's about 20 feet by 100 feet. I want to say that's approximately 2,000 square feet. So that's the first one that I'm doing. It's pretty awesome. I'm very excited about it because I don't have to do this crap. Put Christmas light, put Christmas lights through winter on my trees and hope for the best. And come out here and have to cover stuff. I just dug up two plants tonight actually. One is called a strawberry tree and one's called a miracle fruit. If you guys never heard of miracle fruit, it's a really cool fruit that most people don't even know about. And if you go online to buy them, the berries can be like up to $5 a piece. A berry, one berry. But it's because of what it does. But I can't tell you guys everything on the first night, man.